Good morning. I apologize for the delay. We have been trying to get everything together. We are opening the government operations on health, education, and welfare, and this is November 19th, and I'll ask the clerk to please take the roll.
Senator Crowe? Here. Senator Crowe is present. Senator Jackson? Senator Oliver is present. Senator Seal? Senator Sutherland? Chairman Rose?
Here.
Is present. You have 3 present.
All right. We do not have a quorum in the Senate, so the Senate will not be voting today. Would you take the roll call in the House, please?
Representatives Crawford. Here. Crawford is present. Glenn. Haynes. McKenzie. Here. McKenzie is present. Rudder. Present. Rudder is present. Vice Chairman Fritz. Here. Vice Chairman Fritz is present. You have a quorum in the House.
Very good, House members. Thank you for doing your job. We appreciate that. Before we get started this morning, let me ask, are there any personal orders or announcements from this body? I'd like to explain why Senator Jackson's not here. His wife has been in the hospital for a number of days. Has got quadruple pneumonia. I know she'd appreciate your thoughts and prayers. But I did get a report late yesterday that she is improving. But he would like to be here, but he's where he needs to be. Okay, before we start this morning's business, I wanted to remind the members the action taken by this committee can be to extend the entity by 1 to 8 years. We can terminate them, which would put them into a 1-year wind down period. We can restructure the entity, or we can make no recommendation at all. Our recommendations will be drafted into individual sunset bills that will be heard during full committee in the 2026 legislative session. There's also a public comment sheet to my right, to your left. If there's something you would like to speak from the audience, you're welcome to sign up and we will recognize you. And if there are no questions, we'll get started with the first thing on our agenda, which is the State University and Community College Board of Trustees. So if you will come forward, please. And if you don't mind, make sure your mic is on. You have it close enough that folks back home can hear you. Tell us who you are, who you're with, and you can proceed with your presentation.
Good morning. I'm Flora Tidings, the Chancellor for the Tennessee Board of Regents, the College System of Tennessee. Thank you for allowing us to be with you this morning. As I think many of you are aware, we have 13 community colleges and 23 colleges of applied technology. We are your state's largest higher education entity, serving over 140,000 students a year. Our mission statement is very succinct. It is student success and workforce development. That's what we get up every single day working to accomplish. We do partner closely with state agencies, other industry leaders, employers, and other higher education institutions to ensure that our programs align with the high demand for job and regional workforce needs. These partnerships help keep our students academically and technically prepared for Tennessee's economy. Our strategic plan has just been updated for the 25-35 year. We adopted a new strategic plan which is built upon 3 core foundational pillars of open access, completion, and community and workforce development. And we identified 3 strategic priorities that within the plan with the overarching goal of student success. We connect academic pathways and student experiences to career opportunities. We improve the college process that shapes the student's journey by entering student success all along the way, and we collaborate within the system and with partners to maximize our resources and our efforts. Some updates that I would like to give you that we're very excited about. Our TCAT enrollment was up this fall 14.7%, and our community colleges were up 4%. That is a direct growth as a result of the initiative, the $1.5 billion that the legislatures and the governor has put forward at our technical colleges and our community colleges, being Building those buildings has allowed us to have that increase of 14.2%. We would have had nowhere to put them had that initiative not been put forward. So we are very appreciative of that effort. Those projects, I'm very happy to report to you that all of our projects are underway, many of which have been completed. All will be completed by the end of 2026, on time and on budget. So very proud of that fact. I would like to mention 3 initiatives that we are calling How We Improve the Lives of Tennesseans Every Single Day. These are 3 initiatives that we have implemented this year. The first one is our Foster Youth Forward. Our colleges have long served high school students in foster care through dual enrollment, but we are now launching an even more intentional effort to reach young people aging out of foster care and to make sure that before they age out, they actually have some type of certificate or diploma or degree in their hand so that they can go to work immediately before they age out of the system. We are starting a pilot program in Knoxville in conjunction with the Knoxville City and County and the foster youth program there, and we hope to be able to replicate that all across the state. As you are already aware, we've been working with the correctional institutions all across the state for several years now. I'm proud to tell you that we have 19 programs across every Tennessee program. That's 7 community colleges and 8 technical colleges working across the system. And beginning this year, we will have more than 25,000 incarcerated Tennesseans having access to a self-paced online learning through what's called a VPath tablet. This will include the Technology Foundation course that builds math, reading, and data literacy skills. This course counts as the first 30 clock hours in more than 90% of our TCAP programs. So an incarcerated individual would already have 30 clock hours by the time they're released from a program and would be able to enroll in over 90% of our programs. I'd also like to mention to you the Middle Tennessee Healthcare Alliance. This is our colleges are very proud to partner with the governor's rural healthcare initiative. Building on that work, we are now advancing the Middle Tennessee Healthcare Alliance. This is a collaborative among 4 community colleges and TCATs to address service workforce shortages in nursing, surgical technology, radiological technology, and medical lab technology. This effort is supported by regional partners, including the Nashville Chamber of Commerce, Vanderbilt University Medical Center, HCA, and Ascension. The alliance will focus on high-growth counties of Davidson, Rutherford, Williamson, Murray, Montgomery, and Sumner. Community colleges will expand their associate degree programs in rad tech, medical lab, technology, and nursing, while the TCATs will scale up accelerated surgical technology pathways, and employers are providing in-kind support, including clinical training space and priority placement for these students. And as always, I like to end with our program warranty. For those of you that may not remember, this is a warranty that we issue on any technical student that graduates from one of our programs. If within 1 year an employer says they don't have the skills for which we say we have trained them, we will take them back and retrain them for free. To date, we've issued 104,253 warranties, and we still have 0 claims. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chancellor Tidings. We appreciate that. I'll make a real quick comment on your last comment. I don't know of any education system that has a warranty, so that's pretty interesting. All right. Are there any questions from our committee? Chairman Crow, and then Senator Oliver.
Thank you. I don't have a question. I just do want to thank Chancellor Tidings for all they're doing. Carter County, Elizabethton, we had that $40 million renovation of that whole, or really construction we took the old Workforce Development Center down and built a whole new TCAT facility. It's going to be amazing. And in Washington County as well, the satellite there. And so I'm not surprised that we're having lots of students moving in that direction these days. Because the way the economy is these days, those kinds of careers, those jobs are so needed. And I think the young people are seeing in the community that those professionals that are going into those areas that TCATs teach are the ones that are getting the jobs. And you can go into any of those classrooms. And I remember years ago, Senator Rose, I would go into those TCAT classes with one of my representatives that's passed away now, Ralph Cole. And Ralph would say, how many of you in here already have a job? And 2/3 of them would raise their hand. It's the same or more, even more so these days. So thank you for what you're doing. We appreciate it. You're doing really, really great job.
Thank you, Chairman Crowe. Senator Oliver, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you all for being here. I want to commend you for the foster care program that you're piloting in Knoxville. That is really good news to hear. I've worked with foster care youth. I was a mentor in Knoxville, actually, for youth villages for a little bit of time many years ago. But I do think that is a forgotten population that we really need to wrap our arms around, particularly when it comes to just youth in general who don't have a lot of opportunities for jobs and mental health and all of those things. So would love to hear more about that when you get that off the ground. But I do have a question unrelated to that. In the report here, under challenges, you mentioned that the lottery revenue has decreased, leading to uncertainty regarding future expansion of lottery-funded opportunities for students. Can you say more about that? What is contributing to the lottery decrease, and how is that affecting your operations?
Well, and actually, that's more of a question for THEC because they're the ones that handle that. Dr. Gentile, would you like to answer that one?
Thank you for coming up. If you would tell us who you are and who you're with, if you respond to Senator Oliver, please. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Stephen Gentile. I'm the executive director of the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. We too also listed the decline in lottery revenues as a challenge to the system of higher education. We are not the Lottery Corporation specifically, but I know in talking to them and hearing from them at hearings like this, pointing to sports wagering specifically as a competition to lottery has been one. Sports wagering was directly going to higher education up until earlier this year. And there is a provision that the General Assembly voted in, which is should the lottery revenues be below expenditures, sports wagering would divert back to higher education. So we're grateful for that release valve. But for the long-term projections of where we're going, if it's a competition with sports wagering, if it is other means, for instance, how readily accessible buying lottery tickets may be in comparison to sports wagering, we just are seeing this as a threat. And a year ago, we would have come to you with a series of ideas to improve the lottery and increase it. We're not doing that this year, and we won't be doing that in the near future.
All right, thank you. Senator Oliver, you have any other questions? All right, thank you so much. Chairman Fritz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all day for the great work that you do. Looking at the recent activity on the handout, the 4 things, I have just a couple questions about those. And I'll start with the nuclear energy. I know Joe Stainback and under Chris's leadership, they're doing great jobs with the nuke tech, and I appreciate that forward thought in that. I understand the fission technology pretty well. I can barely spell fusion. I have a physicist friend here from Knox County. I think it might help me with that. But here's my question, and it's the combination between the ceramic tile manufacturing and the technologies associated with that and the fusion. I understand that the plasmas generate temperatures in excess of 100,000 C. And so getting metallurgy that will capture that in a vessel, I think is going to push us toward ceramics technology. So I know we're focused on nuke technology for fission energy now. Are we looking ahead to the fusion energy and how our community colleges and TCATs can help get us ready for that with NQA1 vessels and the welding standards that are going to be at a higher order of magnitude level difficulty, I think, for inspection and everything. I think for us to be, again, for the fission side of it, SMRs and things like that, we're going to have to take a step forward in how we certify vessels if we're going to be the manufacturing center in Oak Ridge, which we should be, Oak Ridge, Knoxville, Kingston, that area. But with that, how do we move forward with the ceramic tile manufacturing and that technology? And is there a good connection with what we're doing now with fusion energy? And I'll have one other question, maybe, Mr. Chairman, I'll pause for the answer.
Absolutely. Let me talk about the nuclear end of it first. 3 weeks ago, we had a summit up in Roane County, and that was primarily for all of our presidents to attend and hear from the industry what's going on currently, and then also for our presidents to talk about what they're doing in that industry at the moment. The workforce that we're going to need to provide for the nuclear industry isn't going to come just for Middle Tennessee. We need to be looking all across the state to make sure that everybody is prepared for that, because we are talking about a very large number of people that are going to need to be trained. One of the exciting things that we are doing is in the welding piece. We do have nuclear certified welding instructors now working with TCAT Harriman to make sure that we are welding to the specifications of the nuclear industry. The other aspect is the truck driving. We also have to have truck drivers that are trained in the logistics of the nuclear piece, and we are working with the technical colleges to make sure that we're doing that as well. We're going to be ready. We are ready for this part of the industry. Looking at the ceramic tile piece, what we're doing there, that is actually an ECD initiative too for this year. There is a lot of expansion going on in the tile industry in the state. Many people aren't aware of how much we have here now in the tile industry. There have been several companies in Italy that are looking at relocating a lot of their logistics here. So we're working with those companies to make sure that we're expanding in the proper way for them. Nuclear and tile sound like two very different industries, but we are going to make sure that we're meeting the needs for those. The other two is AI. And AI and nuclear are closely tied together. There is a lot of AI courses that need to be worked together with the nuclear industry. So we've got some great instructors that are working on how we can advance in that area. We're working with UT. We also, we were supposed to have gone on the 20th of this month we are a finalist, one of 15 right now in an NSF grant. We had to push that out till March due to the shutdown of the government. The NSF people were not able to come to do the interviews for that, but we're working with Auburn University, UT. I know, I have to agree, I do that too. But they do have a level of expertise in that arena, and we want to make sure that we are covering all of this part of the country in that. So pretty exciting what's happening there. We will be having an AI summit that we again are partnering with UT to do. That will be held here in Nashville in January. So I look forward to telling you more about that as we continue to work with them.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one thing, and this is on the AI. I'll go to that in just a second. I'm concerned about the metallurgy and the ceramics, that we have the technology to move forward with fusion. Somebody smarter than me knows the answer to that. I just want to make sure that's happening for us, not to us. And that's my AI question and comment. And I think there's an academic leadership required there. And I'm certain at our universities and our community colleges and TCATs, many of us sometimes feel like AI is happening to us rather than for us, because there's going to be a huge demand on our electrical grid, on our water supplies, and quite honestly, the human nature to resort to that path of least resistance. And so how do we condition academically so that our young people do not accept an intellectual laziness that could come from acceptance of AI? And how do we condition culturally through academics so that AI does not happen to us, but rather happens for us? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely, and thank you for asking that question. It is something we've been working on for quite some time at our system level. You know, I like to talk about AI, and I've used this analogy before. I'm old enough to remember back when calculators were not allowed in the classroom, and everybody was so afraid that if we let students bring the calculator into the classroom, they'd never learn how to do math. And then now you can't walk into a classroom without having a calculator in your hand. AI is, I'm looking at it very similar. We have several tracks that we're training people on because we've got faculty that need to know how to use it. We've got faculty that need to know how to teach AI. And then we've got the utilization by the students. How do they use this in a way that benefits their cognitive training? How do we help them to use it in a manner that is going to benefit what they're doing? A tool in the toolbox, not driving the train, but a tool in the toolbox is the way that we're approaching it. There are things yet to be invented that we have not seen, and what we have to do is try and stay on what I call the bleeding edge of this and make sure that we are doing what our students need us to be able to do.
One final comment for that, and I appreciate it. I know it's a tough thing. My concern is this: there's a lesson from history, I think, that comes from this. In the 30s and 40s, especially in the 40s, we did experiments like tickling the dragon's tail, and we did that with paper and pencil, and no calculators, no computers. And Oppenheimer's team solved tremendous problems with the ingenuity that God gave us between our ears. And since then, as we've become more reliant on things like calculators and computers, we cannot deliver those 2-year successes that they did at Los Alamos and Oak Ridge and Hanford in those days. We find ourselves unable to do that. And I'm not sure there's not a correlation to that reliance upon technology rather than what God gave us between our ears. So please, as we grow our academic workforce and the students, let's make sure we reinforce that there's nothing, maybe not between these ears, but collectively, there's nothing that's going to surpass that. And let's not overly rely on the latest thing.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chairman Fritz, for those great questions, and Chancellor Tidings for wonderful responses. You were, I don't know if he prepped you for those or not, but that was pretty impressive. Any other questions from our committee? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have a question, and you touched on it, Chancellor Tidings, but I talked a little bit about it yesterday. You know, there's always going to be a focus in East Tennessee on nuclear just because of, you know, the Manhattan Project and how Oak Ridge and the associated facilities came to be. But what you just said is absolutely correct. There's not enough capacity within that East Tennessee area if it grows like it will grow. So, but I still get you know, there's still a mystery in the other parts of our state and maybe some fear about nuclear energy, about fusion, about the technology, and about the fact that they don't have to be nuclear workers to work in these facilities. They're going to have AC, they're going to have pipes, they're going to have plumbing, everything. So, you know, as you all consider, and I appreciate you bringing in all the presidents, I just encourage you all to really help them understand what the industry is, what it's not, you know, because people can get a mindset at an early age, and it's hard to get rid of that, or their parents can get a mindset at some point and instill that into their children. But these are great careers. These are careers, as I talked yesterday, you know, with pensions and a lifetime, you know, support. So I just encourage you all to continue to meet with all the presidents and all the TCATs, all the colleges, to make sure that that this is an industry for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative McKenzie. Any other questions from our committee? Any public comments? All right. Do I have a motion? Chairman Rudder.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yes, I make a motion for a 4-year extension.
All right, we have a motion, have a second. Got a motion second. Any objection to the vote? Seeing none, all in the house, please say aye. Aye. And opposed? Excuse me, this is the, pardon?
Just say the extension.
I'm being told that my writing up here is not correct. So this is Board of Regents moves forward with a 4-year extension. Thank you so much for being here, Chancellor Tidings. Excellent report. I'm proud of what you're doing in West Tennessee, and I see the evidence in our factories. Again, that warranty is pretty impressive. So thank you again for what you do. Thank you. All right. Next on our agenda is the Tennessee Council for Career and Technical Education. If you would please come forward and identify yourself, make sure you're close to the mic. Tell us who you're with, and if you will proceed with your presentation, please. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Kim McCormick. I'm the Executive Vice Chancellor for External Affairs at the Tennessee Board of Regents, and I'm here this morning representing Vicki Bunch, who is the Executive Director for the Tennessee Council for Career and Technical Education. She is actually out on medical leave. I have with me Alicia Fox, who is our Finance Vice Chancellor at the Tennessee Board of Regents.
All right, you can proceed with your presentation.
Okay, thank you. So the Tennessee Council for Career and Technical Education is administratively attached to TBR, and it plays a critical role in building a robust workforce that is prepared to meet immediate, emerging, and long-term demands of industry that continue moving here, as well as those looking to expand operations within our borders. Tennessee remains a national economic leader, as we all know, and a highly skilled workforce in the years ahead is a must for us because it will ensure we are appropriately prepared for the continued economic growth on its way to Tennessee. This 15-member council is authorized under TCA 4911-201, with the governor appointing 13 members, 7 of whom represent the private sector. Our secondary, post-secondary, and technical institutions are also represented by 6 appointees, with the remaining 2 positions filled by one by the member of the Senate and 1 member of the House. The council's focus has been and it remains on increasing access to career and technical education opportunities for current and future generations. Regardless of where a student is on their individual academic journey, the council's objective in an advisory role to TBR, the Department of Ed, the General Assembly, and the governor is to solidify the skills and training needed through increased academic opportunities to enhance our future workforce. Council members provide career guidance and share expertise on topics to meet the career development needs of all Tennesseans. The council has met consistently each fiscal year, and it has fulfilled its duties by operating as responsible stewards of Tennessee taxpayer dollars. Currently, the council meets 3 times yearly, summer, fall, and winter, and all meetings are open for members of the public to attend. Because it is administratively attached to TBR, the council staff must adhere to TBR policies and procedures as they relate to things such as conflict of interest and financial expenditures. Duties are statutorily outlined in TCA 4911-202. These include reviewing reports and receiving updates from stakeholders, that being DOE, TBR, ECD, and the Department of Labor. Members also consider all matters relevant to improving and expanding CTE programs in secondary and post-secondary education. Additionally, the council participates in external meetings and events to maintain a robust understanding of statewide CTE initiatives. This includes gatherings with the Tennessee Directors of Career and Technical Education, TBR quarterly meetings, CTE summer institutes, and Skills USA competitions locally, statewide, and nationally. Lee Ellis, who currently serves on the council, represents students with special populations. And Lee does a tremendous job ensuring the needs of these populations are integrated into all discussions and recommendations brought forth by the council. Engagement with local legislators is also imperative to advancing the shared goals of building tomorrow's workforce today. In recent years, especially in the past 2 years, the council has enhanced career and technical education through several key initiatives. These include publishing the 2024 biennial report, analysis of the CTE director survey results, as well as continued advocacy for program excellence. One of its most notable achievements was the creation of a 3-year spending plan using DOE grants to strategically align with the council's priorities. This plan's focus was to support instructor and council professional development, student participation in CTE and Skills USA, student certification opportunities, and overall support for CTE initiatives. The council has also developed a comprehensive strategic plan to guide future priorities and partnerships that reinforce alignment with Tennessee's immediate, emerging, and long-term workforce development needs. All of these examples demonstrate that the council has operated effectively under its current statutory authority, and we believe it is critical to TBR's continued success as a system. This is especially true as we focus on prioritizing 4 major workforce development priorities that Chancellor told you about earlier. These priorities align with education and training opportunities provided by our institutions, and they have been identified as emerging sectors that will require highly skilled workforce with the knowledge, training, and aptitude needed to drive continued economic growth, both locally and across our state. We strongly believe the council should continue because it serves as Tennessee's sole advisory body dedicated to the advancement, coordination, and continued improvement of CTE across our secondary and post-secondary systems. The Council for Career and Technical Education is critical to maintaining a unified vision, laser-focused on CTE and achieving successful outcomes, as well as our shared goal of promoting high-quality programming to enhance Tennessee's workforce pipeline. This, in turn, will provide opportunities for rewarding careers and prosperity for more Tennesseans. And we ask you today for your vote to reauthorize the Council for Career and Technical Education. So thank you for your support, and we stand ready for any questions.
Dr. McCormick, thank you for that presentation. It's appreciated. We have a question for Chairman Fritz. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all again for your time today. Mine's more of a recommendation than anything. It may be something I'm missing, but it goes back to the nuclear energy part. When I look at the engagement, the public engagement and the leadership, we see labor unions and organizations, and all those are important. But is there a deliberate outreach into those who carry a naval reactors experience skill set, like our retired chiefs and master chiefs or naval officers who were naval nukes? And should we direct and target that interface? I would offer yes. These are people that have operated quite complex equipment around the world. And they probably can bring something to the manufacturing maintenance that you can't get from these other skill sets. And so I would just offer that there's probably an outreach there, if we don't have it, to make that deliberate. We could probably even reach out to the folks up in Irwin and Senator Crow's district at Nuclear Fuels and get some of those direct interface points of contact. If we're going to lead this, let's take what we've learned from the U.S. Navy, and including the conduct of operations, Rickover's principles, and start to infuse that early on into our training. Just the basic concepts like if you can't write it down, you don't understand it, and brutally facing the facts are important in that industry, I've found over the years. And so, again, I would recommend, if we're not doing that, that we make a deliberate effort to reach out to the folks that are retired, perhaps even work through our friends at Nuclear Fuels to help gain that subject matter base and make us even better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Representative Fritz, thank you for that. And you are exactly right. We depend heavily upon industry experts, and we need to continue to do so. And as you say, dig more into that in the nuclear field.
Thank you, Chairman Fritz, and thank you for your response. Dr. McCormick, any other questions from our committee? Chairman Crow, you're recognized.
Thank you. The only input that I had gotten, when I guess the folks back home realized we were doing these today, was on this one was, and I didn't really understand exactly what they meant, but was that there was a concern that there was an imbalance, a little too much of a percentage of our dollars being spent on salaries and administration. Have you guys gotten some concerns about that? Obviously, I heard it from somewhere here.
Right. Senator Crow, we don't have concerns about that. We don't feel that we do have that problem. It's a very small budget, and there is an executive director now who is paid from that budget. There wasn't one in the past. So now that person is placed, and again, it's Vicki Bunch, and she is doing an incredible job. She's worth every dime that we are paying her for those efforts. And there are funds that go out for student scholarships, for training, for professional development. So I think I can confidently say that we are not imbalanced.
Okay. Yeah, just if you could send me something that
Will
shows
do.
what we're doing, and then we'll be good.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chairman Crowe. Any other questions from our committee? Any public comments? Oh, Chairman Crawford, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I ask for patience. I've got a couple of things I'm going to ask for, and then I got a few questions. So if you don't mind,
No,
I'll
sir, just
have
go
a
right.
running
Just
dialogue.
roll
Okay.
right on.
First of all, if you guys could provide us with a detailed budget for 24, 25, just send that to the chairman and he'll make sure it gets distributed out to the committee. The other thing I'd like to see is a list of your current members. I think you have 13. I'd like to see a current list of the members and their terms. And then the other request would be a copy of any of the council meetings that we can get a hold of would be great. And you can just send those to the chairman and he'll make sure the committee gets it. One of the questions that I have goes back to a meeting on July the 12th, 2024. At this particular time, it says that there was 3 vacancies on the board at that time, and they were questioned to whether they could take action to approve or disapprove with those 3 vacancies on that board.
Okay, thank you for that question, Representative Crawford. I don't know about the action, but I can tell you this, there were 3 vacancies and honestly, before that, there were even more vacancies. But now that we have Executive Director Bunch in place, she has worked with the administration to get that number down to 1. So we're down to 1 vacancy on the board.
And then I have another question. On October 25th, 2004, there was a meeting held and there were only 5 members of the board present. Does that meet the quorum standards?
I would say they did not have a quorum. They did not have a quorum on that. And I can follow up some more with that if you would like for me to, as far as explanation. In the past, there's no doubt, without an executive director and no leadership really in place, it was hard to have people, to get people to attend the meetings. And there, between vacancies and some members not wanting to attend, that was a problem in the past. That has been corrected now. We've put a lot of effort into shoring up this council, and we've got some really wonderful people that are willing now to serve and are serving on this council. So I think that we can confidently say that we can positively move forward.
All right. And my final question, Mr. Chairman, you can kind of tell with my questioning where I'm going with this, but this questions were sent to me by one of my constituents, and I want to make sure I get the answers for them. The other question I would have, and I'm not for sure you can answer this, but are any employed or retired employees working for TBR at this current time?
Retired employees working for the council?
Yes.
Vicky Bunch is the only employee, and Tracy Cordham is a part-time admin, and neither of them are retired.
All right. I think that takes care of it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Crawford. Any other questions? Chairman Crowe.
Thank you. Pursuant to Chairman Crawford's questioning, it does seem like we've had some problems and attendance, things like that, but sounds like you've got it back in line, getting on track. And, I think we've gotten some concerns from constituents, but at the same time, I have constituents that tell me what a great council let's put it this way, not the council itself, as you have said, having problems in the past, but the need for this council pursuant to what its goals and what we've put it there for. So I guess before we vote to send this to to keep this thing going. I would like to ask Chancellor Tidings about the importance of this council. And is it something that, like some of my constituents tell me, is very much needed from a TCAT perspective? Should we go forward with this council?
Chairman Crowe, thank you for the question. Chancellor Tigers, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. I do feel like the council should be moved forward now with the new structure in place and having a full board. The main purpose, as Dr. McCormick said, is to make sure that there is that continuity between the K-12 CTE programs and the higher education CTE programs, and that is the purpose now, and they are meeting and fulfilling that purpose. The role that they play with skills is a huge role, working closely. And as I'm sure most of you are aware, Skills USA, Tennessee is known nationwide for the number of people that we have that win gold medals at the state level and then go on to win at the national. And we've even had international representatives. And this council plays a good role in helping make that happen.
Thank you, Chairman Crowe. You're recognized.
Yeah, thank you for that. Dean Blevins obviously is one of our constituents up in Carter County. And I know, if they're all like Dean, are the ones that you're bringing on, then we're going to be in great shape because obviously he cares a great deal about it and does a good job. But thank you for that. We just want to make sure this is something that's needed for putting money into it, as Chairman Crawford was explaining. And so, thank you, Chancellor.
I would like to remind everybody that all of the board members are appointed by the administration.
Right.
So they have put some really good members on the board at this time, and we've got a good group moving forward.
All right, thank you. Any further questions from our committee? Any public comment? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Chairman Crawford, Chairman Sutherland?
No,
all right, for a what? Chairman Crawford, tell them what it is.
4 years.
4-year extension. We have a motion. We have a second. You have a second. Any objection to the vote? Seeing none, let's take a voice vote a roll call vote in the Senate, please, clerk.
Senator Crowe votes aye. Senator Jackson. Senator Oliver votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Sutherland
Aye.
votes aye. Chairman Rose
Aye.
votes aye. You have 4 ayes.
All right,
Chairman.
thank you. And we'll take a voice vote in the House. All in favor of the House, please say aye. And opposed? All right, moves forward. Got aye?
Go ahead.
Okay, we have a approval for a 4-year extension. Thank you for being here. Appreciate your input and all that you're doing. Thank you so much. Next on our agenda is the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. If you folks would come forward. Appreciate you being here. Make sure that you're close to the mic. Tell us who you are, who you're with, and you are ready to make your presentation. You are on.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Rose, members of the Joint Committee. It's an honor to be in front of you today. My name is Stephen Gentile. I'm the Executive Director of the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. I am joined up here with Scott Sloan, our General Counsel and Chief Operating Officer, and Lou Hanneman, who is our Chief of External Affairs as well. I want to take a moment to thank our own board, our commission, members who are appointed by both the administration and the General Assembly, and including the constitutional officers. In my 2 years in this role, they have really pushed and prodded to ensure that we are meeting the needs of the state and our responsibilities. I'd like to also thank our staff, some who are here behind me and others who are watching from afar. They make us do what we're able to do. And that, sir, committee, that is to ensure that we are meeting the needs of Tennesseans, specifically students and prospective students. We are the state's coordinating body for higher education. What that means is we work with the 8 governing boards, including Tennessee Board of Regents, to include that our academic programs are meeting workforce needs. We help keep tuition low. And we also are the body that distribute all $600 million of financial aid to our public and private institutions. We also authorize all public, private, nonprofit, for-profit higher education activity in the state, which is over 300 institutions Oliver. We approve directly our academic programs that come from our public institutions. We set a binding tuition range for our undergraduate in-state students every year. We also are the convening authority that brings together the appropriation requests that we bring to this body every single year. I am honored to say that enrollment has increased this past year up to 225,000 students across all of our TCATs, our community colleges, and our universities. We've seen graduation rates double over the last 15 years across our public institutions due to the outcomes-based funding formula and the great strategies put into place by our institutions. And so I'm going to stop there and just say that we have a lot going on in Tennessee higher education. We have our challenges in front of us. I mentioned earlier the lottery as well, but we're here to address them as we move forward. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much for the presentation. Any questions from our committee? Reverend McKenzie, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just to follow up on that, the catch-all is that if you receive less funding than you did the prior fiscal year, they will true you up to that amount, beyond that amount. Is there any adjustment for inflation or as tuitions rise within the university system? So could you just kind of flesh that out a little more?
And sir, are you speaking to the lottery?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
To the lottery versus sports wagering and how those funds
Okay.
move back and
Yes, sir.
forth.
To speak to the levels of the scholarships themselves, those are set in statute, and they were adjusted back in 2022. Before that, back in 2009, and then the lottery, that was the first time adjusting. So there's not an automatic increase to the levels of those scholarships. But every year we do take in on a quarterly basis the revenue coming in from the Lottery Corporation, and we spend out the lottery scholarships that are due to the students. If at the end of the fiscal year there is a deficit between the two, then sports wagering, this is controlled by the treasurer's office. Sports wagering can and will divert to supplant that deficit. We also have reserves in place too, should that come to need, but that's not where we are right now.
You're recognized. Go ahead.
Yeah, just so I'm clear, so in terms of priority, do you spend down your reserves, or at the end of the year, let's say it's $1 million, that's a deficit that you expended based on the 2022 rate, and there's $1 million shortfall? Will that money come from the reserve and then sports wagering true it up, or will that money be trued up at the time of reconciliation?
So that money will come from sports wagering first.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the question and response. Any other questions from our committee? Any public comments? All right, seeing none, we'll entertain a motion. Do I have one? Chairman Crawford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would make a recommendation that we extend the Higher Education Committee for 4 years.
I have a motion. To have a second. Chairman Ruther, thank you so much. We have a motion and a second. We do not have a quorum in the Senate, so we'll take a voice vote in the House. All in favor in the House, please say aye. And opposed? Moves forward with 4-year extension. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate what you do. And we'll see you in, I guess, 4 years. All right. Next on our do what? Well, it's good to have you back. That was a quick 4 years. All right. Thank you for being here. If you don't mind, for the record, tell us again who you are and who you're with, and you may proceed with your report from the Tennessee Student Assistance Corporation Board of Directors. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Rose and members of the Joint Committee. Again, my name is Stephen Gentile. I am the Executive Director of the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. In the past, there were two agencies, the Tennessee Higher Education Commission and the Tennessee Student Assistance Authority. Those two combined in actual work about 15 years ago, over 15 years ago, and been working hand in glove, and the Executive Director has served over both. We had, of course, the responsibilities to give out over those $600 million of financial aid, of state-funded and lottery-funded aid to our students at both public and private institutions. Earlier this year, in the coming out of General Assembly, the TSEC board was completely replaced by the Tennessee Higher Education Commission itself. So the commission now serves as the board of directors for TSEC. What this does is marry the policy arm of our agency with the financial aid distribution so that there's more policy conversations when it comes to the financial aid distribution. There has been no change, however, in services provided and how we serve the students and in the scholarships as well. And we just, and on July 1, successfully completed the merger there by the commission. I'm happy to answer any questions about that.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions from our committee? All right, if you don't mind, we're going to go into recess. We're going to get an explanation from legal about really what's going on right here. Then we'll make sure we don't have any public comments. If not, we'll entertain a motion. So we're in recess right now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Doug Garrett with the Office of Legal Services. Public Chapter 234 effectively terminated the governing board of the Board of Directors for TSAC on July 1, and now THEC serves in that capacity. When this occurs, it's typically our practice to, as a housekeeping measure more than anything else, to remove that entity from the sunset cycle. So, of course, the committee is free to do whatever it wishes, but that would be a suggestion.
All right, just so I keep things in order, any public comments before we entertain a motion? All right, seeing none, no objection. Motion, do I have a motion from Chairman Crawford? We are now back in session. Thank you, sir.
I make a motion that the TSAC be removed from the sunset hearing.
That'd be correct. That would be the board of directors of the Tennessee Student Assistance Corporation. So you've heard the motion. Do we have a second? Chairman Rutter, thank you so much. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor in the House, please say aye. Aye. And opposed? All right, you are effectively removed. As this gets later in our legislative session, we'll finalize this, but thank you for being here. You are removed from the sunset. Thank you for being here and appreciate your efforts to get this done. All right, next item on our agenda is the State Energy and Policy Council. And if you folks will come forward. Well, I think we all know who you are, but the public needs to know who you are. So if you don't mind, state who you are, who you're with, and make your presentation, Ms. Julie.
All right. Good morning, Chairman Rose, members of the committee. My name is Julie Vallejo. I'm the Legislative Audit Liaison with the Comptroller's Office. I am here to read a statement regarding the State Energy Policy Council. The State Energy Policy Council was established in 2017. Its mission is to advise the Governor and General Assembly on the development, management, and use of the state's energy resources. The council was reorganized in 2024 to update its membership and structure. However, it has not convened since that time. Currently, the council is attached to the Comptroller's Office for administrative purposes only. Given its charge to advise on statewide energy planning and coordination, the General Assembly may wish to consider placing the council within an agency that is better positioned to support its subject matter work. Doing so could help ensure that the council has the expertise and resources necessary to carry out the responsibilities outlined in statute. And this concludes my statement.
All right, thank you. Questions from our committee? Chairman Fritz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much. As you know, we did try to do that last year. We had a bill to move that over to ECD or TDEC or both, and we had some cost prohibitive things that come up. So thank you for the report. I think this is going to be something that's important for the state of Tennessee. If we're going to lead on energy, we must have these subject matter experts in place. I thought we had 3 vacancies. I see 2 in the report. And I think names have already been submitted. I'm expecting something to come on both of those. We did do an ad hoc meeting, if you will, just the introductions and everything, a little bit of vision casting last month. So hopefully we'll get those last 2 appointments made and get meetings going. But thank you so much. And I'm committed to try to help us get this moved into a more appropriate category, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Fritz. Any other questions from our committee? I have one, if you would.
Sure.
try to answer this for me. How does this entity function inside the controller's office, please?
So it's only administratively attached to us. As it was set out in statute, we don't staff the agency. So it just sits with us. It doesn't really align with our mission, and we don't align with the mission that they have for energy planning.
Okay. Any questions from our committee? Any from the public? All 7 of you that are out there. All right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion. Chairman Crawford, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I make a motion that the State Energy Policy Council be extended for 1 year.
All right, you've heard a motion. We got a second. Chairman Fritz, any objection to the motion or the vote? All in favor of the House, please say aye. And opposed? Moves forward with a 1-year extension, State Energy and Policy Council. Ms. Vallejo, thank you so much for an excellent presentation. This concludes our business today, and I remind you that actions by this joint subcommittee are submitted to the Government Operations Committee for deliberation and final decision prior to being placed on the calendar during the legislative session. Notice of future meetings will be posted in advance of scheduled meeting dates, and I'll remind each of you that we will be back in this room at 1 o'clock. Without objection, we are adjourned.